That was good.
What?
Yeah. Magnets are the best. What is going on, everyone? Hopefully everyone is having a spectacular Tuesday, followed by an even, or coming after, a heck of a long weekend for some of you, and, well, just a normal, weekend for us, and the fact that we actually got a weekend.
Exactly.
Yes, you're correct. You're spying some Utopia M's. So this is an F-150, in case anyone hadn't figured that out yet by the F-150 logos that are pretty much all over the place. I mean, there's one right there. But that, I think at this point, everyone knows what an F-150 looks like. What's up? The usual. So, what was that? Almost birthday. Yes, it is. What's up from Lake City? What's going on? Don't you guys ever upgrade people's electrical, i.e. battery or alternator? Usually no. Most of the systems we do aren't big enough to where that's ever really a problem. We're not putting in 5Ks and 10Ks and 20Ks. So, most of the systems we do don't ever really get over 2,000 watts. I don't even think they don't even really get close to 2,000 watts. Some close, but most not. And amplifiers are pretty efficient nowadays, so we don't really have too many issues. Actually, I don't think we have any issues.
We don't.
Yeah, none that I can think of. Anyways, what we got going on here is, yes, you spotted it, the Utopia M. The customer picked up a set of these and is having us put them in. Originally, he was going to go with some flax, which is actually the tweeter we're going to be putting in. We're going to be putting in a flax tweeter up here for right now because he's having MTI Acoustic make him some sail panels for right here. That is going to have the cool beryllium tweeter that goes into it. But those didn't make it in time for the installation. And seems how, getting on the schedule and getting stuff done, you kind of got to go when you can. What we've done is we're going to be running... Did you already do it? Did you already run the wire up?
Yeah. That's right here.
So we're going to be using... Well, let's finish it all the way up to here.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to have to pull the door panel off just to plug in. So we're actually using this wire here for the tweeter. The way the amplifier works in this had the Sony system back here. So here's the plugs. This is the plug we need for our system. And what this is going to run is, the front tweeters and the rear doors. The mid bass in the door is getting its own set of wires that we're running into the doors. So what that's going to allow us to do is right now we're going to be able to use the factory wiring to power this tweeter. And then when we get these pods, we'll be able to unplug this tweeter, put the A-pillar back on, and then plug into here, and that'll power this tweeter. We're just going to run these two in parallel, and that way, once the time comes, just an easy unplug, plug in the new tweeter, and we're all set. Makes life so much cooler. And then, of course, the rear speaker is going to be a set of full cal flax. How do you get an appointment with you? And that's a great question. I wish I could answer it, but I honestly don't know. But what we've done is we've added in this panel here instead of the vapor barrier. He brought us in sound skin and sound shield. So we use the sound skin on the door. Second skin. I'm sorry. This is second skin. So we went with the second skin here, and then the sound shield is on the actual door panel to keep it from rattling and making a bunch of noise. So that's got that done. To power this system, we have two full cal amplifiers. So we have the full cal monoblock and then the 6-channel, and then he's going with the Helix DSP.3, which is 8 channels. 8 channels? Yeah, 8. Line out says 8.
Okay.
So 8 channels, which is perfect. That's going to be front, rear, sub, tweeter. So that'll power all that up. The second skin Pro. Well, this I don't think is the Pro. I think it's just the regular. I want to buy an Alpine PWDX5. What aftermarket speakers can I use for that if it only has 25 watts a channel? You're going to want to make sure you get something that's super efficient. I think in the Alpine line would probably be the S-Type. If you don't want to go Alpine, I would look into something like maybe some Audison Prima or some Mille Dicis or Centos would be. Hertz. What did I say?
Mille.
Sorry. Hertz, Dicis or Milles. No, Jesus. Centos. Now I'm totally screwing up. Anyways, yes, you got the idea. They're efficient, they're loud, and they'll work off of that power. Oh, you got the package. Cool. What's the ratio do you like? What ratio do you like for mids and highs to sub? The sub, obviously, we want just as much sub as you can get because everyone wants a ton of bass and you can always turn it down. Most of the time, me personally, I'm not a big tweeter guy, so most of the time I like a little bit more mid bass, but most people want more treble. Most people are going to want more treble, so I don't know if you could describe it as a 2-to-1 ratio, but I feel like most people want more treble than they want mid bass. But it's got to be a balance. Like, it has to make sense. So it's just a lot of the times you just get in there and you tune it until it makes the most sense, keeping in mind that most people want to have a decent amount of treble coming from their car, more so than I would like. But Fernando's a big treble guy too, so I just let him sit in, and if it and then he's like, I like it, then most people are happy. A-pillar or sub-panners for better separation? I mean, I like the A-pillars personally. I like the A-pillar, but I don't like big A-pillars. Like, I don't know, man. I don't like these big, crazy A-pillars that everyone's building. But, I mean, sound-wise, I guess that's what we're going for, then go for it. I'm running no more than 2,000 watts, still getting headlight dimming. Okay, well, listen, you're always going to get headlight dimming. I mean, you're asking your alternator to put out crazy amounts of power. You're also playing it sitting at a stoplight with the volume cranked all the way up, running your air conditioner.
Buy a second battery.
You know, you could buy a second battery in the back, and that will give you that time so that when you're sitting at the stoplight, your headlights don't dim all the time. Or just turn it down at the stoplight, and that way you don't get shot. I mean, that's something to think about. What's the sound signature of the Alpine X-Type versus the S-Type? That's kind of a broad question. You know, someone asked me the other day why I'm not a fan of the S-Types. And I just, you know, it's one of the, and they were like, they sell really well. And they do sell really well, but just because something sells really well, it's at a great price point, it's got a good name, and it's not a terrible speaker at its price point. But that doesn't mean I have to like it. It doesn't mean that I have to get on board and be like, yeah, man, this thing is awesome. No, it's just an inexpensive speaker that sounds okay. And they're better speakers at that price point. If you're an Alpine fan, then you're doing yourself a disservice by not saving up enough to just go with the R-Types, because the R-Type is a badass speaker, and it's not that much more, and it's way better. As far as the difference in sound goes, I don't know. I'm never really, you know, they're better. The R's are better, and the X are better than the R's. So, you know, the X-Type has an even awesomer tweeter, if that's even a word, which it's not. Elias is in the house. What's up? What's your favorite powered subwoofer? I mean, are we talking like powered actual subwoofer? Because like the Rockford P300/500 series is pretty hard to beat. If we're talking about one of those little under seat things, I really don't have a favorite. Thanks, Bobby. Yeah, right? Monday, oops, Tuesday. Trust me, I felt the same thing when we were talking this morning. I was like, yeah, it's Tuesday. Tip of the day. I don't like big A-pillars either. Stealth for the win. Oh, I'm all for that. How much power do you run to flax 3-way set? If you can't go active, I would say 3-way set somewhere between 110 to 250 watts is nice. If you can't go full active. But yeah, I mean, there again, depends on how loud you want to get. You know, 120 to 150 is pretty good. Like you're gonna be like, oh damn. Obviously, a little bit more power is nicer. But, I mean, we'll run we've done a couple different things. Obviously, we've gone through A-Active. We've done small systems where we just do like half of an audio control amp on them. It's just so, we've done them where we've taken like the 6-channel and bridged it to a 4-channel. That's nice. Getting all that power is kind of cool. Just trying to think of other things we've done with it. You know, but going with, like, we've done them where we've taken like the Rockford Mini T's and we've put the 4-channel on the front, mid, and tweet, and the 2-channel on the sub, or I'm sorry, on the mid bass. So we've taken a 5-channel where we've just done front stage, and we've taken the 5-channel 1005, put that on the mid tweet, and then the 2-channel on the mid bass, depending on what we're running. That's a Porsche thing that we've done. No, it's okay. Good speaker for Jeep, not Rockford Fosgate and K2s because of price. Check out the Morel Maximus. Check out the Morel Maximus 602 Mark IIs. Nice, very nicely priced, not crazy, fits right in, puts out a ton of sound, very loud, great value, great value. Hope you guys had a great extra day off. You know, the problem is like most people know, when you get that extra day off, as a word extra, you try to fit in like a month's worth of stuff in a day. And so you come into work and you're way more tired than if you had just had a normal weekend. Full active, any 6-channel, like in, you know, like the LC 61200 is nice. This Focal is actually really nice too. The Focal 690, we've done this one a couple times now. FDP 6900. It's like 150 watts by 6. It's a pretty nice amplifier to go full active with, which is what we'll be doing on this one. I have a 2014 Honda Accord looking to replace the factory head unit. Will I lose both sides? And backup cameras, looking to build an active front component. Yeah, I mean, I would look into the Metric kit. It's not the greatest, but if you're trying to keep it and not like get all engineering on it, then check that kit out and see what that does for you. That will probably allow you to keep everything. Why don't we see more two-way systems with wideband instead of tweeters? It's the manufacturers. It's 100% the guys making the speakers haven't figured that out yet. You got to remember, conventional wisdom is tweeter, mid-range, tweeter, mid-range, tweeter, mid-range, tweeter, mid-range. Look at all the manufacturers that just are now finally figuring out how to make a 6x9 inch mid-bass. Kenwood was kind of the first company to just be like, let's just make this, where they make the high frequency wideband mid-range, as you called it, or middler, and a 6x9. Kicker has followed suit in that they have their middler and 6x9 combo, but they're again, each one of these guys hasn't figured out the whole process. Like, so they'll make like a middler and a 6x9, but then they don't make like a middler and a 6.5, or they don't make a 3-way set that has a tweeter, middler, and a 6.5, or a tweeter, middler, and a 6x9. So it's like they all just don't think this all through. And there again, it comes down to the 6x9, where it's going to sell, who's going to buy it. But the middler packages, personally, if it was up to me, I would just sell everything a la carte. I think if we could just get them to just sell it a la carte, we could build whatever we wanted, that would be the way to go and be done with it. Some point that'll happen, probably not anytime where we're going to care. What's up? Pix 86 and an amp or audio control D 4.800 and Silverado with factory 8-inch head unit. I would just do the D, or if it's the 8-inch head unit and the Silverado, depending on the year, you could just go with the Amp Pro. Even if it's non-Bose, the Amp Pro will work. You just switch dip switch number 3, or if you don't want to, the Amp Pro will work in Bose and non-Bose. GM61. If it needs dip switch number 3 turned on, that is so that the FM and Sirius XM will be stereo. Will play through the left speaker. It will be non-stereo. So you basically have a double mono sound. If you don't like that thought process, then you can go with the, there again, depending on the year, Maestro makes the DGM3 and the DSR1, which is the Rockford DSP, that will control the door chime. So it digitally controls the door chime, but it basically integrates high level to low level wise. But to answer the question you had, I would probably go with the D4.800. Keep it simple. Hi, you doing? I've been trying to get a hold a bit impossible. I have a 2020 and I'm trying to do a whole system. I know. The thing is we have been so busy. There again, I don't mean to make excuses. The install bay is not part of the retail store physically. It's 3 buildings down, and getting over there with the amount of work we've had to return phone calls that Paul doesn't even tell me I have, it's been a real struggle lately. So I got blasted on Saturday in the comments about that, and it's like, I don't know what goes on over there. I'm literally never over there. We're here. We don't have phones, and we are just, thankfully, very busy. And I'm not allotted the time to stop this and go do that most of the days. So, I don't even know there's phone calls, to be honest with you. I'm sure there is, but I don't know. So, well, I'm doing the best I can, man. If I can.
Email is probably.
Email is really nice, because.
But not just saying, I want to do a full system in my car. You kind of have to do more detail of what you're trying to do. 2020 F150. I want this. I want that.
I have this. I have that.
I have this. I have that. I don't have nothing.
Not saying that it'll work better, but I can at least get an email and I can look at it and respond back. Johnny, what's going on? Hey, I sent you and Fernando a message on Instagram. I will have to look. Tommy, who?
Hey.
We figured it out a while ago.
Oh, that was good.
Birthday plans? No. Probably working.
You have birthday plans?
No, I'll be working.
You don't want to wait? Get wasted?
Will an Amp Pro work without an amplified system? If you're asking about the GM, yes, it will. As long as it falls within the years, it's capable of reading the signal off of the MOS bus, depending on how the car was flashed. Half of them have stereo left and right for FM, Sirius XM. The digital side of things is 100% stereo. So if you're an iPhone, Android, Flash, whatever user, that's 100% stereo. It doesn't matter. It's just for FM tuner. Some of them, when you plug it in, if you don't hear any sound coming out of the left side, you flick dip switch, you unplug it, you flick dip switch number 3, and it'll mirror one side to the other so that when you're listening to FM, it's kind of weird. We do have, you search Amp Pro GM61, and we have 2 videos, one amplified, one non-amplified, that'll walk you through the whole process. Thank you. Tacos and Coke. Okay, it's non-Bose. Yep, and you're good. How was Disney? Hot. Disney was actually not that busy. It was kind of nice. And one day we went to Epcot, Hollywood Studios, and the Magic Kingdom all in one day, because it was great. We went to Universal the next day, and that was a mess. What's a good sub setup in a 99 Chevy Silverado F150 or 1500 3-door? They make a couple different boxes for that. I still like the 210s myself. I like the crossovers on the Merlin Maximus on the speakers. They're wonderful because they're not big, ugly crossovers. They're just simple inlines, so it makes installation way easier. You're only one person. No, it's actually 2. Fernando, there's me, and then there's Paul next door. So there's 2 here in the install bay, and Paul's. And 5-star isn't ours. We're employees. We don't own this company. We work here. We own the social media side of things. It allows us to take care of this. But that's it. We don't actually, we get told what to do. So,
yeah.
If your head unit has an equalizer and you have, say, a D5 1300, would you not adjust the head unit, leaving the essentially flat, and make all the adjustments in the DSP? Would you not adjust the head unit? Okay, so here's what you do. If you have the 5-channel or any DSP, like, doesn't matter which DSP you have. If you have a DSP of amplifiers and you have an aftermarket radio, very similar to what we're doing in this, he's getting the big floating screen Kenwood, which I forgot to show you. Hold on, for all you F-150 guys that have never seen a floating screen in an F-150, here's the Kenwood floating screen. inside of here. This is using the iData MFT1 kit, so all these buttons still do whatever we want. We've programmed these to do a whole bunch of things. This is the RR2 in here, so we've set up the MPO number 1 to turn on and off the box lights that he has, because his MTI acoustic box has LED lighting in it, so he'll be able to just press this to turn it on and off. But that's what that looks like. Now back to the question that you were asking. Here's what you do. You use the DSP to do the global, I'm sorry, not global, to do the master tune, meaning you get rid of all the baloney. You get rid of all the peaks, the valleys, the rise, the distortion, the in-by distortion, I mean like the seats, the things. So that left and right match, and you have your alignment all the way you want it. So you do the big tune, all right? And most of the time, at that point, once you've got everything fixed, you then use the DSP to apply any salt and pepper you want to it, like boost the treble, boost the bass, boost the mid-range, cut frequencies, add frequencies. Because that's, you know, you have the house curve, and the house curve is your starting point. That is like, this is if I can get everything here, then I can gain and cut and do all those things I want. However, if you have a big EQ on the opposite side of that, let's say a 13 band from an aftermarket radio, well, now you can actually leave the DSP to do its things, meaning get it all situated out, and then you can use your 13 band EQ if you want as a global EQ to apply a little bit of equalization on top of it. So for example, if you're listening to, let's say, classical music and the tweeter seems too bright, well, you can go and you can turn it down. Or if you're listening to hip hop and the bass seems like it's way too much for some reason, you can go in and turn it down. If you're listening to classic rock and you feel like you need a little bit of boost just because it's recorded lower than everything else. So you have all those presets that you can make in your aftermarket radio. You might as well take advantage of them. Why not? They're there. The thing I tell everyone is if you find yourself boosting anything above 3 dB on that, well then we really need to talk again, because we need to go back and look at the master tune to see where this problem lies that you feel you need that much more boost. So it's a great asset, as well as it can also be dangerous, but as long as you stay like at 3 dB boosts or whatever. Now if you bring everything up to 3 dB, well, you should just kick yourself in the head because you're doing it wrong. I have a Helix DSP Mini. I want to replace the battery. If I disconnect the battery, will the settings in the DSP erase? No, the settings are burned into the DSP's memory circuit. So you can take it out, set it on the bench, put it back in later, and it'll still be the exact same way. They don't lose their memory. That would suck. Big time. Okay. Did you get a picture of an ARC1 with a blue LED? Hoping you received it, Fernando.
Which one?
Somebody sent you a picture of a blue LED.
I have to check.
He'll check. Thanks for the response. No problem. How great do the Morales Supremo sound? I've never heard them. I don't know. Never heard them. It's on my list of things to do at some point. Please help. Is it right to use two LOCs, LP74 and LP72 together on the back of my 4-channel non-amped OEM radio to connect 4-channel amp and a monoblock for a sub, or should I just split the RCA cables? All right, you don't need a 2 and a 4. You need a 4 to start out with, just a 4. Now let's take a look at a few things on these amplifiers that your amplifiers may have. On a lot of sub amplifiers, you'll see something like this. There again, yours might not have it, but it might. This is the input, this is an output, okay? The reason why this is here is so that, let's say I have the 4 channels. I can run one RCA into this, let's say the front. RCA would come into here from your high level, and then front would come out of here and would go over into my 4-channel. Now there again, this is a 6-channel, but on some 4 channels, they have the same thing where this is an input, this is an input, and this is an output. Now this output here can do a couple things on some of those 4 channels. It can have a summed output, meaning that it could be summed together of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, so that when you come out to here, it has what's called non-fade subwoofer output, so that if you fade between front and rear, the output to the subwoofer doesn't change because it uses both front and rear to create your sub-channel. But either way, either the 4-channel or possibly the mono is going to have a pass-through to go off to the other amplifier. So no, you don't need to run a 4-channel and a 2-channel high-level to low-level adapter. Now the other thing to keep in mind too is, does the amplifiers you're hooking up have high-level to low-level adapters built into them? Because sometimes these actually have better high-level to low levels than the ones you're buying. So that's something to keep in mind when choosing the amplifier. A lot of these have really good high-level to low-level adapters built into them. And even the LPs from PAC, they only take 10 volts of input. So anything, I think they take 10 volts. I haven't looked at them in a while. I'm pretty sure it's 10 volts. Whereas most amplifiers will also take 10 volts. Better amplifiers will take 20 and 40 volts. So it's just something to think about. The other thing too is a lot of the amplifiers that are coming out now have signal sense built into them, or they're looking for the DC offset, or they're looking for AC to come into the input of the amplifier to turn on, which is similar to what your LP7, 4, and 2 are both doing, as they use the DC offset to turn on the output. So when you hook up the constant 12 volts in the ground, that blue wire is an output, not an input for to turn on the high-level to low-level adapter. It's a passive high-level to low-level adapter with a TR4 built into it, which is the signal sense low voltage triggered output. So you can use those without actually hooking those wires up to anything, because it's just a transformer based high level to low level adapter. Wow, that was a big question. What you guys up to? 105 in Arizona. Whew, ain't that here. Man, that's an oven. You cooking that. How come the Morel Maximus are listed as discontinued on Crutchfield? Because Crutchfield is getting a new part number. They're not discontinued. They're changing the part number on the Maximus, I think, to take away the confusion of Maximus/Maximo. So I asked them about that a couple weeks ago when someone had said I'm like, they're not being discontinued. They're just changing the model number. Should you run AGM batteries only in not mix again and lithium, or should I ask Hi-Fi? He makes batteries for a living, so go for it. The only thing I could say, like, anytime you add different types of batteries in the cars, so for example, we've always used the Stinger batteries. I've been using Stinger batteries for as long as Stinger batteries have existed. It's a dry cell battery mixed with a AGM and or a liquid battery up underneath the hood of the car. If it's just one of the small batteries and you drive your car daily, then you're never going to have a problem. It's just going to work the way it's supposed to, and everything is going to go fine. If you find that if you put in a big ass battery, then you're going to want to put a relay between the two so that they shut off. Otherwise, the two batteries will compete against one another, and you'll end up with two dead batteries, or one battery will swell, or other bad things will happen. So, and the relays are fairly inexpensive, but that's separating the two batteries are fine. As long as the car is running, you have the alternator on, and it's doing what it needs to. I've never had a problem with any form of battery. Dean, are you guys going to do a Q&A show tonight? Or no Q&A show tonight. We just missed Monday. It's just how it goes. Got to get on with the rest of the week. So, it's what it is. I know. Next week, bro. Next week. Focal Flax or equivalent Morel 3-way set, of course. Comparable to the Flax would be the Virtus. Two totally different sound signatures. I am a fan of the Morels. He has Morels too, but the Flax are a pretty impressive speaker. There's no doubt about it. It really comes down to the tweeter at the end of the day. That tweeter with the Flax it's a hard dome tweeter as opposed to a soft dome tweeter. So you have to figure out which one of those sound signatures you like, and then you pick the speaker you like. Would a K2 sub sound better in a port enclosure or sealed? I want to say when I was building boxes, the K2 was only made for a ported enclosure. I don't think they worked in sealed boxes, so ported would be the answer. What's the best way to get a hold of you? There really isn't a wonderful way to get a hold of me, to be honest with you. I don't really check much of Instagram, Facebook, and stuff like that, just because I'm super busy. Calling Paul or emailing Paul, I will eventually get it, and we'll go from there. The thing is like right now we're booking a month and a half to 2 months out, so usually when the schedule starts to loosen up, then he starts having me call people back and whatnot. Like this guy waited 2 months, so and we're finally getting to it. And he changed the whole system because he waited so long. Why would you need a second battery? Depends. It all comes down to your playing, how bad you play it, how much you want to get out of it, what you're looking to do. Hey, let's check out Fernando here. So he's checking the fast ring. This is how he checks the fast ring, to make sure that it's not going to interfere with the speaker at all. And what is your conclusion? Good. It's good? How much did you cut any off?
No.
Yeah, because it went in pretty deep.
Yeah.
So it's not, yeah, because theirs is like a ½ inch deeper, or it goes in a ½ inch more than ours does.
Mm-hmm.
So he got the MTI speaker brackets, not ours. So what's the #1 tool you guys wish you had? Is there a tool we wish we had other than a CNC?
That would be it.
We added the Focal logos to the door here, along with the bass knob. Is the bass knob's like right there, and of course it's got the min max just for you.
Oh, see, that's what I.
Yep.
Like.
Yeah, you can't. Yep.
Okay.
So, is there a tool you wish you had? I mean, I think like a really big scan tool would be neat, but I mean, I have one that I could just update, but I just never got around to it.
Yeah, but it's not like, oh my god, we need it, like.
Yeah.
Because we need it.
Right. I think the CNC is probably the most. I don't know, man. That's like it's. I mean, I like tools and I'll buy stuff, but like I usually have 3 or 4 of everything just because.
Yeah.
You know, you never can have enough tools, obviously. So anytime I find something, I tend to want to own it just because. But yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one. I'll have to think about that. We'll think about it and we'll get back to you.
Right.
So really back to the second battery question. It just comes down to how you play it and what you're expecting your system to do. And also how much power you have. In a normal system like this, it's not too big. The factory system is typically fine. However, if he's going to be like, dude, I'm going to be playing this for an hour sitting in the parking lot at work because I want to watch movies and stuff, well, then you're going to have a problem, in which case the second battery just to buy you that time would be wonderful. Yes, you can totally bridge that amp down and get some serious power out of it. The Morel Maximo components do sound excellent. We just recommend the Maximus because it's a great value, and we know everyone here loves a great value, so it allows you to get into a really nice speaker at a great price. So should be available around the time the new head units are coming out. 400 components for a Silverado. What year? What year? Oh, that's cool. I'm glad that worked. Dean wants the Milwaukee power crimper. Oh, power crimpers.
What?
The Milwaukee power crimper, like Steve has.
$5,000 one?
Well, I mean, there again, it's not like it has to be obtainable. It's just what tool do you wish you had that you don't have? I would like that tool. I mean, I'd take one.
Do you have that one?
I'm not gonna like. I'm not. If I have 3 wishes, I'm not wasting it on that. Exactly. But I mean, if I had an extra $5,000 laying around that wasn't earmarked for something important,
yeah,
you know, then I would definitely, you know, buy one.
Yeah.
But because I could see where it'd be very beneficial for what we do, but I don't know if I would. I don't have an extra $5,000 earmarked for that kind of thing. Like I would have to really search. You know, all right, do we have everything we need? Because I mean, I feel like if we had $5,000 to spend on a crimper, I would buy all new cabinets for the store for the install bay.
CNC machine.
Well, no, I'm saying if we already had the CNC machine,
oh yeah,
I would replace I would buy all of these for everything else in here. So, which is the plan at some point.
Just buy a new car.
Oh, okay. Well, there's that. I mean, I would make sure my car's paid off first. So, I mean, an assistant. Yeah, there you go. If we had $5,000, let's buy an assistant.
Exactly.
Okay, I'll buy you guys a CNC for Christmas. Yeah, I know, right? Okay, I'm fine with that. What about a lift? We don't have a place for a lift. I mean, okay, so, okay.
I would love to have a lift.
Where would it go? All right, hold on. Yeah, I would love a lift, but for one, the ceiling's not tall enough. But okay, so like this is as, all right, so I'm gonna flip this around. This is as wide as it gets, and that F-150 fits. That's it, man. That's all the room you got. You know, if you come up the side here, there's just enough room to open the doors, and there's just enough room on this side. Everyone that comes here always says the same thing. When we get visitors and visitors stop by all the time, they always say, "Oh, it looks so much bigger on," and it's not. It's not.
Almost,
yeah.
it almost touches the whole.
It's tight in here. But we the thing is we're very efficient with our space. The boys at Kicker hooked up the boys at Kicker hooked me up. Couldn't repair my. Oh wow. Oh, there you go. Got an 1800. Very nice. Very nice. Never enough tools. Tell me about it. That's Oscar.
Oh, dude. Oscar has tons of tools.
Well, he's got the big toolbox.
Dude, that big toolbox is shit.
Okay, see, now that's the thing, though. That's the one thing I don't think I've ever wanted was the big toolbox. And I know people say, oh, you got the big thing here. So here was the reason this even exists. For one, at the time, you could get it with a refrigerator. We have since broken that refrigerator twice, and this is the third refrigerator. Target, fortunately, still makes one to go in here. But two, I bought this toolbox because it was the cheapest, biggest toolbox I could get. And if you'll notice, see, here's the toolbox, and if you spin around 180 degrees, you'll notice the window right here. Pre-COVID, this was the waiting room, and people would sit there and look in the window and watch us. So when they're in this window, and they look back, they see this big ass toolbox, and believe it or not, a lot of people want to see that big toolbox because they assume big toolbox means lots of tools and all those weird things that go through your head as far as like, oh man, he's got a big toolbox, he must like have tools and know what he's doing. So I immediately made sure it was like the first thing I bought when I moved into this location was the big toolbox. You know, obviously this actually has more tools in it. This is the one that sits in front of me, and of course you have Fernando's toolbox here, and then this other little tiny toolbox that sits here. This is all our this is for the show. So this is all just camera gear for the show. So like here's the camera for there's our lavaliers, microphones, and then like this is all the show stuff, HDMI cables and fun stuff like that. But so
if we talk about tools, maybe like a bigger laser.
A bigger laser?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know.
Fernando needs an assistant.
Okay. So I don't have to come to work.
Oh my gosh. Fernando needs a booster seat. That was Bobby.
I have one.
Hey, we're lucky.
Sebastian's.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're lucky you were small, fitting in the back of his truck. Should I do 2 JL TW3s or 2 Kicker Shallow Square 12s and a truck under seat box? Listen to rap and want lots of bass. I'm gonna go with the LTs. I'm gonna go with the squares. I really like the squares.
Okay.
I think the squares would be the way to go. Kicker on Mass tonight. Be there, be square. Oh, that's funny. How about a cameraman or woman for a tool? Ooh, so if we had someone that could film for us. Sometimes I wish we did have somebody that could film for us, because I feel like that. But other times I think I'd spend more time explaining the shot I want.
Yeah.
You know, because like when I tell you how to set up a shot that I want, it's like, you know, I'll be like, okay, I need this, need that, need this, and then it's like, okay, change this, change that.
So that would be another person to work.
Yeah, I think to me personally, yeah, I kind of do
dreams, man. Why?
I mean, the only time I'd really want a cameraman is like when we do Knowledge Fest, when we're getting ready to do Knowledge Fest and we walk around. I feel it'd be cool to have a person that could do that. Like Haley would love to do that, but I wouldn't want Haley to do that. Like Haley'd be like, I'll go if I can film that, and I'd be like, no,
right?
Because I don't think she'd pay attention.
Well, I mean,
Does she just
pay?
Yeah.
If you pay.
Just make it rain.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, guys, listen, this has been fun, but we got to get back to work. Our day is almost over. We got a few more things we got to do. I got to get these amplifiers mounted to this panel here. This is the MTI panel. These amplifiers are neat because they have this cool little mount that allows you to do a vanishing screw thing, which is just going to be a pain because, like, you got to mount these here. Then anyways. So double-sided tape, these drill bits, we're going to make it happen. But you guys have a great rest of your day. Thanks so much. For those of you that were like, hey man, how come we didn't have a video this morning? Obviously, I was tired when I got home last night, so nothing happened.
For the Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah, it's all Memorial Day weekend's fault. So this week, tomorrow and the week going, you'll have videos up, and we'll just keep this train moving.
That's right.
Also, just in case you didn't know, if you're a fan of the Hi-Fi Vega network, and when we do reverse polarity, and also we do side jag, the movie review, we won't be having those this week because he's on vacation. Him and the family are doing the family thing.
Oh, nice.
So we'll be back next week. Our movie next week will be Fast and Furious. We're going to review its 20th anniversary of that. I know. Can you believe it's 20 years old? Oh, my God. So we'll be talking about that. It's one of his favorite movies. I got an awesome picture I took this weekend of Fast and Furious. I'm going to share with you guys next week, which is fitting as far as I'm concerned. And, yeah, I don't know who the guest is going to be yet. But that's it for today, guys. You have a great rest of your day. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Probably sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. It definitely sucks. It does.
You're just picky, dude.
I'm totally picky. How you doing over there? Almost ready to go home?
Yes.
I don't even know why. I was gonna say I don't even know why you're getting into this. Like it's not like I was gonna say. Yeah, I mean, it's you're like, hey, it's time to go home.
Yeah, I'd say that.
Good afternoon. Good evening. So we're still working on the F150 Focal build. I just finished the amp board up here. It's all set and ready to go. The only thing I need to do is get the fuses for it. I haven't gotten to that yet. But we had to make, it's like this little power station right here. The board is made out of a 1/2 inch. This is polyethylene or whatever, poly something or other. It's a little bit denser material than what we typically use. This is an MTI board, but I needed to raise everything up, kind of do a little bit of staggered. So you can see here, like the main fuse holder is up 1.5 inches. This is down lower because these are the past. It's one of those things where it just wasn't working out the way we wanted it to. So it's like all the power is within like the last 12 inches of this. So it's just really strange. Just let it go, man. Just let it go. Drop it down. You can do it. You good? Okay. So it was just one of those things, but the speaker wires also plug into the amplifier on this side. And the wires are running plug in on this side. I want to make sure these all unplug because when setting the gains, because we're going with a Kenwood radio, when setting the gains, I don't want to have to pull all these out. It just seems like that's a pain. If you can avoid doing that, then obviously do it. In this case, all the speakers can plug in and unplug, so we can just disconnect them here and set our gains and then plug them all in and good to go. But because of how this power end was set up, it just, running 0 gauge, dual 0 gauge takes up a lot of room here. And I wanted to make sure I had room for this speaker wire and this RCA. The RCAs, if you'll notice like this, so there's not a lot of room there's room here, yes, but these are 8000 series Stingers. And the shortest ones you can get aren't short enough to just, come out of here and go there. So using the back side of the amplifier to hide your excess back side of the amp board. To hide the excess, as you can see, it just kind of wraps around and it'll plug into here, and we can do that. this, if you'll notice, this is the sub wire here, and then this is the power wire for the illumination and the MTI box. So we have mid-base, tweeter, rear. This yellow stripe is telling us this yellow stripe. So this is our tweeter output here. 6 channels of input from our Kenwood. And then mid-base, tweeter, rear fill there. The remote turn on. It all kind of had to tuck in, and then I brought it back out here because it needs to attach into this. The sub wire kind of had to do the same thing. It popped into the backside, then came back out over here and zip tied into place. There are some gaps here, so it's like we could have wrapped it just around here, but I didn't want to do that. I wanted to get it back out front where it's going to end up anyways. The way they designed this board, there's like a 2-inch gap between the carpet and, you know, we make ours a little tighter. I'll just leave it at that. And so there's room to bring this around and all our wiring around for this. So then that comes, and that's why you see these zip ties, because they're holding all this, and then this is zip tied into a bundle. This will go across the back side of the car. The only thing that's going to go down the driver's side of the car will be the one speaker wire, the bass knob, and of course the 2 big 0 gauge, which is plenty to run down that side of the car. Audio by Art in the house.
What's up, Arturo?
What's going on, man?
Check them out. San Antonio, Texas, baby.
Yeah. So anyways, that is that. We got the driver's door on this side back on. He's still got, obviously, the driver's door on that side. There's that Utopia M Full Cal logo in place onto the door. If you didn't see the bass knob yesterday, there's the bass knob there. But this is, we'll be able to get this in tomorrow morning, get the amp in, start running wires. That wire will pocket in right there and go out that way. All the panels are out of the car, so if you know, it's fairly easy enough to take these panels out. Makes your life a little bit easier. Hey. I got my Morel t-shirt. Awesome. That's cool. Yeah, it was funny. So the 5 Morel t-shirts we gave away, they went to 5 different states, and there was a medium, a large, an extra large, a 2X, and a 3X.
That's crazy.
So I was like, oh wow, everyone got one. Oh, cool, Bobby. I'll check.
Yeah.
What's up, Fernando?
What's up, man?
Don't thank me. Thank Natasha. Natasha's the bomb.
Natasha's, yeah.
But those are nice. Those are nice, Art. Those are definitely nice. Arturo. I like that name. That's cool. But anyway, so that's what's happening with these amplifiers. Just kind of wanted to go over that.
Yeah.
And what else did we get done today?
Nothing.
We got the tweeters. Tweeters are mounted in place for now. Like we said, he's going with Utopia M's. But for now, we're just going to put the flax in until he gets his A-pillars from MTI. I'm sorry, his sail panels. So we made our laser scissor mount here for the tweeters, so that we can get those into place. I think that was it. What else did I have to do? Oh, yeah, that's right. I was like, what else did I do with the laser today? We did the, somebody wanted an audio control amplifier signed. So we actually used the laser to sign it. I know, right? How cool is that? So that was kind of fun.
Yeah.
So we had to take 10 minutes to figure that out.
Back in after install, please. LOL, my OCD. We do it.
Yeah.
We do it when
We're done.
we're done.
If we make a mess. Most of the time we don't make a mess.
No. But
If we make a mess, actually most cars that come in are cleaner when they leave than when they show up.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Pro tip of the day. Pro tip of the day was like I was talking about on this amp board. You know, sometimes it gets really congested if you try to get everything on top of the board. If there's room behind the board, which there is in this one, by all means, it's the back side of the board. There's no reason not to use it. So as you can see, you know, this line of zip ties here is holding that row of RCAs in place. Plus, like, you know, this wire here, the passenger front speaker, There's no reason to bring it across the front here, so it just ties into these and runs across out to the other side of the board. So, you know, if you have room, using both sides of the amp rack is just like a printed circuit board. Think of it like that. This is just like a printed circuit board. You have a dual layer circuit board. There's no reason, if you have the room, to not use the other side of the amp rack to make your wiring look better and have it make more sense. So there you go. I have not tried Direct Live yet for my home stereo. I think it has it, but I haven't had time to play with it. It sounds good enough at the moment, which totally irritates me, but we're good. We'll play with it more once I get some time. I think it needs a software update too. Should I hook up my Fix 86 to the factory speaker outputs or the factory inputs? It's a Fix 86. It's designed to go out of, you know, whatever's coming out of your source unit into the inputs of the Fix 86. So whatever you're feeding it, you have the input signal, and then the output goes to your new amplifiers.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is it time?
It's time, man.
It's time. All right, guys, we just wanted to come in and give you a quick update on what's going on with the F150. And sorry we didn't come on earlier, but hey, it just kind of happened. Any reason in today's audio to get engine wine? Actually, yeah, you could still get engine wine, cheaper equipment.
Oh,
but if you have like high-end equipment, usually, so the only time you'll get engine wine with high-end equipment is from the car itself.
Right.
So some of the older vehicles, the electrical systems aren't as up to snuff as they should be. But if we're talking like this is 2015, you have high-end equipment, there's no reason why there should be any engine wine in this car. None at all.
No.
So,
Floor
that's
noise.
it. Floor noise, yes.
Different.
That's a whole nother headache of conversation. But anyways, with that being said, thanks so much for tuning in, guys. You have a great tonight, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.
Bye, guys.
Bye. You okay?
Yeah.
You sure?
What happened?
Nothing. Just doing your thing. Doing your thing. The F150 is done.
Yeah, finally, man.
Yep. Yeah, it took 3 days.
2
days? Oh, it's Thursday. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It's 3. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It's 3 days, man. What's the best sub setup for a crew cab 17 F150? Ooh, which one's the crew cab? Is the crew cab? Which one's the crew cab? Because if it's the one that has the little small box underneath the back seat, I got nothing for you. Otherwise, this you can do anything you want on. 210s, 212s. Go crazy.
4.8.
Turn it up. No, because everyone's getting picky on, and unfortunately, my phone has all the copyright. Or do you have the DMR free stuff? Oh, we might. Okay, Fernando's got his. Fernando looks more tired than usual. Hope you guys are doing okay. So he was up all night coughing. So he had a cough fit last night, and apparently that kept him up most of the night. So yes, he is tired. However, his beautiful wife bought him lunch today, which, you know, we were like, why is the Jimmy John's person here?
I was like, no, next door. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't order nothing.
Yeah, no, she took him. She took care of him. Oh, Oscar's in the house. What's going on, man?
Is the best.
So let's take a tour of this real quick while Fernando's setting that up, and we'll talk about some of the cool things that this has going on in it. Starting in the back here. You know what? Hold on. I just so happen to have a light right here. We had a moment earlier today. Fernando was asking me questions about the difference between a prime lens and a zoom lens and whatnot. So we had a little photography 101. Anyways, so you guys saw this yesterday sitting on the bench. So here it is now in the car. So that's pretty much it. Not much to see there. If you are going to be doing an F-150, back here in the corner, the way it's set up from the factory, there's like this notch that is in the way of all the zero gauge. Cut that off, flatten it out. It's real easy to do and makes all your stuff. Canon Mark D4, yeah, I know. Got one at home. I got a 2 also. But yes, I love my Canons. 5D Mark IV, there we go. Say it right, Dean. It's been a minute, but so here we go. We have the big Kenwood in the dash. One of the things that's really cool about the iData interface for this is this controls, they all work. Not only that, if you go with an RR2, you get 3 MPOs or Maestro programmable outputs. And in this case, we've made preset number 4 here. Oh, there we go. Turn on the lights in the box. Hit the button, Fernando. And it turns them off, turns them on. They have a 300 milliamp output. So all you have to do is add a little relay to it, and you can do that and use 3 of those presets to do. Now, this particular radio also has the ability to add buttons to it, but since we had, 6 presets to play with, a couple other things we set it up to do is if you hit this one, it gives you your car information. If you hit this one, it gives you your gauges, and of course the air conditioning all appears on screen like such. We'll turn that back off and that'll go away. So you keep all those fun features. It's a pretty awesome way to do it. A couple other things that we've done today is this had the Sony system in it, which has that ugly Sony right there. So we made an acrylic bar that goes all the way across, added in the Focal logo to match the Focal logo that's here on the doors. So that went in. That was the last piece we had to build today. Oh, no, actually it wasn't. Hold on. Fernando's getting that queued up. Let's head over to here. So here is the battery. So this has Focal Helix and of course 5-star. It has this funky thing on it, which a couple of these F150s have had. So this is the variation on the fuse holder that he does. It still mounts into the same location here, but it comes up over the top of the battery. And then over in the side, it says system fuse right here. There's 2 bolts here that can be removed, so you can remove this out of the way of the battery, just like you have to unscrew the battery already. So that's that. So, and the whole top plate is acrylic with ABS underneath it, and we went with 1/4 inch, so we won't have any problems with heat or anything. But that was the oil catch can. Yep. Oh, hey, look, got short legs. Should I use a DD1 to find distortion when setting up kicker key, or just do the 3/4 volumes like the instructions ask? Just do the 3/4 volumes like the instructions ask. Everything else it'll take care of for you. So if you put it at 3/4 volume, when you're done, you can put it at that same 3/4 volume, turn the gains up, it's got distortion detection built into it, the lights will come on, and you'll be hunky-dory. You probably won't get much gain out of it. That's the one thing that we're like, I wish there was more gain capabilities, because it's like all maxed out. So that's kind of the one. I wish they would rework the gain structure on it so that you could get just more action. I mean, you're getting the same volume no matter what. You're getting all the volume out of it. I would just like to be able to roll. It's a mental thing, and we're all mental. Oh, there's no question about it. What do we got?
I got nothing.
Nothing?
No.
So we got some custom. Yeah, that's nothing. Yeah, that's no volume either. Yeah, so he didn't have any music on his phone.
I got nothing.
Yeah, all right, that's
nothing that is copyright.
You don't have the
I don't have the
Squarespace?
I don't have the new ones.
No, they're not new.
No.
There's a Squarespace folder, and the audio folder should have all the DRM free stuff in it.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep going here. Which Kenwood radio? This is the 1057. So they make the 3. This is the 1057. Yeah. So this has no nav, wireless CarPlay. Although we're wired right now, just because it makes our lives way easier. Because I don't want to have to unpair phones and stuff like that. But yeah, so it does cover the buttons at the top, but whatever. If you have a newer one, the Maestro is programmable to turn the stop-start off, so that makes life kind of cool. Yeah. What do you do?
Yeah, but this is...
What?
I don't think that's one.
Yeah, that's one. Got a lot of bass. So the subs that we never really talked about, if we turn on the light, let's turn on the light. Hang on, let me show you what he got. So he's got the MTI subwoofer box because he did all the MTI components in this. But what's in there is it's the Focal Flax Shallows. So these are the Focal Flax shallow mount subwoofers inside. Obviously there's one here, one over there, and he's got the cool Laramie. It's ported out the back. This goes all the way to the floor to get the most amount of airspace possible out of it. So the only part that's raised is right here up underneath the subwoofer itself. But that has those are the Focal Flax subs in there. Which, yeah, a lot of people don't know they actually make a shallow mount subwoofer. So, and they're nice. They're just usually not in the price point that people want to participate in. But yeah, how do you tune an epicenter? Gotta use your ears. It's one of those few devices that it's just play the music that you want to have be better and start controlling the knobs. Honestly, the default that it comes set to is usually pretty accurate. Most people are happy with whatever it comes with the two knobs on it already comes to. Then you just kind of work it from there. But the best way to tune that is playing the songs you want to listen to and start adjusting the knobs and try to play it kind of at volume, so not low. Pro tip, did we do a pro tip of the day?
Yesterday.
We did one yesterday? I don't know, give me a minute, Bobby. I'll see if I can come up with one. All right, so let's see. I know, it's just...
Winner, chicken dinner?
Have you ever wondered where your bass is and then found out that you accidentally get your low pass gain setting at -60 dB? You know, the only time we go, oh crap, where's the subwoofer, is when we've accidentally wired one up backwards. And then it's like, yeah, immediately you know, like, oh God, it's backwards. You know, and you get it. It's always the heavy woofers too. It's never like the light woofers. And that's when you kick yourself for not just testing them before you put it in. Yeah, it is the problem with a lot of these things. You can't really get the satisfaction of knowing how it sounds. It does sound really good though. I can't wait until we get the other tweeters put in. That ought to be fun. Is it possible that a factory RAM 8.4 inch touchscreen doesn't clip? Yes, actually. Okay. Distort, yes. Clip, no. Because you have to remember, out of the factory radio, there's bass roll-off built into it. So the loudness that's built into it will roll down the high frequency and the low frequency, so that they don't distort and so that they don't clip and damage the factory speakers. So yes, it's totally possible that your factory radio isn't putting out clipping, but it's also, you know, you're going to get a tad bit of distortion and of course a ton of floor noise. If you have the 8.4 inch iData into the DSR1 with the iData T-harness or the Amp Pro, both of them will get you a preamp section regardless of whether it's the Alpine system or not. They both reprogram the radio and make it sound wonderful. What are some things you must always keep in the shop aside from radios and amps? 6.5 inch speakers are probably the number one thing that you sell the most of. 6.5, 6x9s. That's why most speaker manufacturers make 6.5s and 6x9s, because those are obviously the two most popular sizes. you know, power wire is key. Like, if you don't have power wire, you can't put anything in. I guess that's kind of the answer to that question. DSP 4-channel amp, big power to go underneath seat, 2020 Honda Civic. DSP 4-channel with big power.
4.800.
Yeah, I was gonna say you got the audio control 4.800. It's 120
with
watts.
DSP built into it.
120 watts by 4 with DSP. It's probably the biggest 4-channel DSP amp. All the other ones are like 70 by 4, so they're not that exciting. But yeah, the D4.800 would be the way to go. That'll fit underneath the C2. Question. Or you could go with the. Never mind. Would it be beneficial for car stereos to be made only with preamp outs for sound quality? Yes, and actually it's funny. Let's turn the engine off for now. Yeah. Beneficial for car stereos to be.
Yeah, this guy, man.
I know this guy's annoying. God, is he annoying. In the past, the Alpines and some of the Clarions and Kenwoods would just come with preamp sections. They were the high-end models, and that was wonderful. Unfortunately, that market has come and gone in the sense that, like his Sony, the GS9, there's no power in that. Because why? Why would you put power in it? You need the room. You need the room for the DAC. So, yes, like this Kenwood. This Kenwood should come with no power. However, people want to. People feel when they spend that kind of money, it should have everything, whether it needs it or not. So, do I wish these these radio manufacturers on their flagship models would lose the power? 100%. But they're not going to do it anymore because they all feel like, oh, I got to throw that little 18 watt by 4 chip in there and make everybody happy. I got my Morel shirt yesterday. Really nice feeling shirt. Yes, Natasha buys the best, man.
Natasha Turkey.
Natasha is on point. She does everything nice. As because I want to open a shop, but just wanted some extra input on what to have. Can I email you about that? I probably wouldn't be the right person to ask. Paul would be better at that. So yes, if you want to email him and ask a couple questions, definitely. I would also recommend, if you're going to open a shop, start small, work your way up. Right now is a hard time to like inventory and stuff like that. So like most of the time you don't have to stock stuff because there's plenty of inventory to go around.
The thing is, like, when you start in a shop, I guess it's like you're starting with the radios and speakers and everything. And right now for radios it's just really hard.
Right. You kind of also have to figure out your market and the customers you're going after. There's plenty of shops out there that don't really stock anything because
it's everything by appointment.
Yeah, it's all appointment, and everything is just kind of set up. So,
and when we say it by appointment, it's like you go do your consultation, you sit down with them, they talk about the system. Right. It's like, all right, so we set you for like next month. You drop it off. The shop orders the stuff and done.
Right.
It's not like I'm driving. And
if you're gonna do the turn and burn stuff, to where it's like radio amp, speaker, radio amp, well then obviously you have to keep that stuff in stock. But that's that's an investment. That's where the money comes in. So you kind of gotta have a business model first. 100%. You have to figure out what kind of stereo shop you want to be. Our buddy Aaron at Havoc, when he decided to open his own business, he thought he was going to open a car stereo shop, and I was like, dude, why? There's 7 car stereo shops in your general area. Why do we need another one? We don't. What we need is a motorcycle shop, somebody that works on motorcycles. Motorcycles turned into slingshots, and that's what he works on all day, slingshots and motorcycles. Because there was a deficit here in shops that knew how to work on those things. He was a motorcycle guy. He drove motorcycles. He had a Harley. He's put stereos on all his Harleys, so he knows how to work on that stuff. So he's doing okay for only being open for like a year and a half, 2 years now.
Like 2.
Yeah, Whereas another stereo shop, he probably would already be out of business because they're a dime a dozen. They're everywhere. Now, building your reputation, that's where you set yourself apart. But as a new store, it's hard to build a reputation. You need to make money.
Oh man, Oscar say thanks for the shirt.
Hey man,
Hey,
you know Jeff Smith.
you know Jeff Smith?
I have not started working on my Mustang. The only thing I've done to it is I put wheels and tires on it. I changed out the back logo panel because I don't like the Mustang logo, and I had the headrest embroidered with the Boba Fett logo that I had in my Camaro. A buddy of mine did that for me. But no, we haven't had time to do anything. It's the same old story.
All right.
Sound digital amplifiers are the best, and they're powerful.
I like it. Is there a thing as much as too much power? Let's say I have a set of speakers rated at 80 watts RMS, and you put 150 at them. It will affect on the long term.
So a lot of people get confused about those numbers. Those numbers are good guidelines so that you don't do stupid things. An 80 watt speaker and a 120 watt amplifier is perfectly acceptable. It all comes down to setting the system up. Now, if you take that 120 watt amplifier and let's say you set the gain up to where you're at -5 dBs of overlap, which is 10 dBs of boost, you set the crossover at the wrong place for the speakers you're putting in, well then yes, those speakers are going to get smoked. They're not going to last long. However, if you dial the amplifier in properly, set your crossover up according to the way it's supposed to, all knobs to the right, all day long, then no, those will work fine. Case in point, one of my previous installs on my personal vehicle, I had a Dodge Ram, and I had a Kenwood 401X, old school amplifier, had a sliding door on it, really cool. Tons of power. 4-channel amplifier, bridged to a set of 7x10s that Kenwood made. So it was like 250, 300 watts to a set of 7x10s on each side. Never had a problem with them, played all day long. Those were the only speakers in the car to compete with the 4 10-inch subwoofers I had behind the seat. Sounded okay, worked, did what it needed to do. So it all just comes down to setting the stuff up. We do have a video, years ago that we did. I don't even remember what it's called, but we took and showed you we showed you the result of a shallow 6.5 like this, a big 6.5 like that, both the same amount of power, how to dial those two amplifiers in properly. I don't know where it's at, but we did do it at some point. Thank you for your update on the Stang. Any benefit to ditching the BO Mustang sub with a 10-inch dual 4-ohm aftermarket unit? If you want more bass. I mean, if you want more bass. I mean, let's be honest, the factory sub is kind of anemic. It's not bad, but putting it in the same enclosure, probably not going to work, but going with a newer, bigger enclosure would definitely get you more bass. But it just comes down to personal preference. Why does the SNI one fix sub feedback when I turn off the car? Because it's removing the ground from the shield. So what you're hearing is that you're getting a ground loop. So by removing that ground from there, that's what causes that. It's kind of annoying. Paul is a hoarder. There's no question about it, but in a good way. Dean Classic installs was really cool. Yeah, those were fun. I'm glad we found those. Pro tip of the day. Did you got one? I got nothing.
Make sure you set your crossover points in the amplifier and switches before you install it. Because sometimes it's hard to get to those things.
What he's talking about
like
is
these amplifiers,
pre-tuning the amplifier.
The settings are on the bottom, so you install it, and then it's really hard to get to it. So it's like,
extremely hard to get to.
But I mean,
so basically, what had happened in this particular vehicle is obviously we need to set up the gain structure after the fact. One of the problems we ran into was that it's a 6-channel amplifier that is made to be a 5-channel amplifier. So there's 2 switches that aren't really concise, as it were, as far as their description. And so we were only getting sound we were getting a mono sound from just the left channel into the two rears. So when we did front, rear, left, right, this 4 wasn't playing, and because there's a switch on the amplifier that isn't called what it should be called. It says BP, which could be bandpass, could be bypass. In this case, it was bypass. So it was one of those odd things where it's like, it'll never happen again, but trying to figure that out, and of course, having to stick your phone up underneath the amplifier. So a pro tip too is if you do have to get to an amplifier that's really hard to, your phone, turning the camera, facing it up and looking at it makes an exceptional mirror. Yeah. So very helpful in this car to set the gains and flick all the dip switches was using the phone.
What kind of amplifier are you talking about?
These are the Focal FE.
Sure, they doesn't have it.
It's these. Hold on, sorry. It's these Focals here. All the gains and everything, which they're on the bottom, not the end of the world, but trying to get to them was very difficult because of where the seat is. But they are awesome amplifiers, so from that perspective, we've used the 6-channel before as a 5-channel. This time getting to use it as a 6-channel was kind of cool. I like it.
Can the AMOS Bluetooth thing be used at any DSP or AM, or just for Moscone?
They can be used universally. So if you have
is the AMOS or the Atmos?
It's right there.
I have no. I know that's the AMOS.
Okay.
But I don't know if he's talking about that.
Either way, I think you just typed it wrong. It's okay. The question is that the Moscone super expensive 96 kilohertz Bluetooth streaming device that they make. Can you use it on anything? Anything that has a Toshlink input or RC inputs, you can use it on. So yes, we could Toshlink it directly into this Helix, but Helix already makes one that we would just buy if we needed it to. But yes, you can use it on anything. Do you have an opinion on Scar Audio?
No.
I mean,
we sell the speakers. You know, we don't install the amplifiers barely. Like it's like few installs. I can count.
Like
hand.
As far as the product goes, no. Business model,
yeah,
that leaves a little bit to debate, but that's not the question you're asking.
We sell
so it's okay.
Of it, you know.
Yeah.
Over the counter, of course. Hold on. I finally got my hands on the D4.800. It's really small and easy to use, but how do you set the gains on it properly without the DD1?
So it has clip indicators built into it. When you immediately fire up the D4.800, because of how they test it before it leaves the factory, the amplifier's turned all the way up to 12 dB.
Yeah, but that's what
so
you have you on.
First thing you need to do is go back in and set the gain back down to 0 on all the channels. Then I would leave it alone at that. Okay, tune the car. And once you're done tuning the car, with the top off, you can, if you feel you need more sound, like you need more volume, play some of the music that you're listening to, and there's the peak indicators that are built into it, okay? If they're blinking, it's okay, it's not the end of the world. If they're on, then you're trying to get more out of the amplifier than it needs. Keep in mind, when you're doing DSP amplifiers, getting that -5, -10, whatever you choose, it doesn't always make sense, because remember, that's a +5, +10 dBs of gain. You might want to, when setting your EQ, you might want to boost the frequency to have it match the opposite side. So if you're constantly, if you've tapped the thing out, then you're going to have to pull everything down. So, you know, leaving it alone and having it down a little at the beginning will allow you to, if you need to, boost. I mean, cut is always the way to go, but sometimes boost is easier. You can boost one frequency as opposed to cutting 10. That makes more sense. And if your gain is tapped out, you're cutting 10. That kind of sucks. It's a lot of work. Movie quote of the day: "Stop squeezing the juice." I think it's Pauly Shore. Stop wheezing the. Yeah, whatever. Get to the chopper. Go, get to the chopper. What's your opinion on Kenwood XR amplifiers? Love them. Great best bang for the buck. The Japanese amplifier you can get is those XRs. My God, you will not find like the 802.5 is one of my personal favorites. I love that amplifier. It's the smallest little powerful 5-channel amp at that price point. Big time fan. The 902.5 always comes through in a clutch when we're trying to get power, but like we're hammering that penny, man. We're hitting it hard. What?
The joke that he says right there, go right, go back, more, no, I'm sorry, up, down a little bit, right there.
You can tune an amp, but you can't tune a fish. Oh, bad dad jokes. No, that's actually the first time I've heard that one.
Me too. That's what I laugh. I'm like, wow, that's pretty neat.
If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. I don't like their pick for the hardware. I'd buy your own and install it in your box. Okay. Oh, SCARTA boxes are actually pretty solid from what I've heard. Oh, no, they are. Oh, dude, their boxes are really nice. The SCAR boxes, the pre-made SCAR boxes.
Yeah.
Paul buys a decent amount of those, and compared to some of the other stuff that's out there, they do a really nice job. Carpet's nice. They do overlapping seams. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. He thinks this stuff through. I mean, you got to remember, man. Product moving out the door makes money. Product coming back in the door makes nobody money. Okay? So you want product that stays out the door. So, that's like business 101. Make stuff that stays out in the field and not coming back. So, we don't have a high return rate on the product. So that's good. That means they're actually trying to do something. Most stuff typically breaks, not just from SCAR, from any manufacturer, is when something gets lost in translation. Meaning when you're trying to do something that it was never intended to do. Speakers, when you buy the 2,000 watt speaker and you power it with a 1,000 watt amp and then you go, I blew it because I wasn't running enough power. No, you blew it because, yes, you weren't running enough power, but because you took that 1,000 watt amp and tried to get 2,000 watts out of it by turning the gain up on that thing until, dude, it's only halfway up, man. I can still go more. No.
If you run those vocal amplifiers as a 5-channel,
yes.
Is the bridge channel 2 ohm stable?
Yes. Yes, it is. Yeah. And that's one of the really cool things about this channel 5 and 6 on the 6.900 is 500 watts at 2 ohm.
Or a 4 ohm.
Is it 4 ohm?
Yep, it's a 4 ohm or 2 ohm.
Yeah.
Yep.
We found that out in the first one we did because the guy's like, yeah, I'm going to run it at 2 ohm. I'm like, how are you going to? And then I grabbed the owner's manual. I was like, yeah, you're right. You can. That's pretty awesome.
It's pretty cool.
So kudos to Focal for thinking that one through, or whoever makes that one for them. But yeah, no, that's a pretty awesome feature on that. So we can use it as a 6-channel right now. 4 ohm works fine. Bridget, life goes on. We get lots of bass.
Oh yeah.
So digging that. Dean, I need you to work your magic. I need a 210 Fox box. Man, I can't rebuild a building.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
That place burned to the ground. Tuning the D4.100 on an iPad is not that bad. I'm not patient enough to do that. I need immediate gratification when I hit a button.
Yeah.
I can't do it. But no, as far as graphics, the amp, yes, it's all awesome. Is SCARTA fabricated method of finding the right gain with a multimeter actually viable? 100%.
Yeah.
Totally. Yes, you can totally do that. That's how we used to do it, as they say, back in the day. But yes, no, there is nothing wrong with doing that. And actually, we have the review of the Lumi digital multimeter, where we walk you through the same process, because that's an oscilloscope digital multimeter. And what we did is we were able to show you figuring out the math, setting the gain, and then looking at it with the oscilloscope. Yeah, I mean, it's perfectly, yes. The thing that a lot of people don't know when they do that is, and you can still do negative dBs, like if you want to do a negative 5 dB gain overlap, you can still do that. You play the track and you set the gain accordingly. So a lot of people think, oh, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna play a test tone. I'm gonna set my gain. It doesn't matter what test tone you're setting. So you can use a 0 dB test tone, or you can use a negative 5 dB test tone. Where the queer in the deal comes in is that if you have an amplifier that says it's 120 by 4 and it's not, then you blow up the amplifier. That's what you run into, because you're trying to hit the number for the math at 120 and it ain't gonna do it. Usually you'll notice, because on those types of amplifiers, as you turn the gain up, the amplifier will start to squeal. You'll hear a and you'll be like, and there's no speakers connected, and you're like, why is it making noise? It's because you're hearing the output devices go, but just like full tilt boogie. Turn the amplifier down. It's not going to do it. I'd also say anytime, if you're not hitting wattage, the number, by the time you're halfway up on the gain, it's not going to do it either. So, yeah. What 6x9 coaxials in the 350 range do you recommend? Ooh. Alpine X-Type, Rockford Power Series.
T2s.
Yeah, well, they're T1s. With Power Series, they only make one. The Morel Tempo Ultras, Integras. I'm trying to think of... Audio Frog has a set of 6x9s.
Frog has 6x9.
Trying to think of some other badass 6x9s. We're talking
Addison?
coaxials.
Addison?
I don't think they have. Well, they have a coaxial, but we're talking badass, $350. All right, well, there you go. There's a couple to choose from. Oh man, you missed the answer. You're gonna have to go back and watch it. I can't repeat all that, but it's there. It's there. You'll see. What mid-range speaker would you recommend for the Audio Control LC61200? It's 120 watts. You're gonna want something that's mildly expensive, I guess. So typically when we're doing something like that, Focal Flax, the Morel Virtus, the Hertz Milli Pros. We've done a lot on those, but I mean, that's kind of our go-to amplifier. So somewhere in that price range. I'm ready for the box. Don't like the quality of the... Oh, I don't either. No, I don't like their quality. Yeah, it sucks. Yeah. Hey, Paul. There is no Morel Maximos coaxials. There isn't? Oh, no. Maximus? No, Maximo. You'd be looking at the Maximo, and also their coaxials are called Integras. They're kind of fun like that. Listening to you list off all those options of 6x9s, how traditional car audio has changed from back in the day. Different setups that... I mean, keep in mind, I've been doing this since 1990.
Oh my God, you're freaking old.
Thank you. Yes, I am. Yes, thanks for reminding me. So yeah, I was there. I was there buying this stuff. So yeah, I mean, it has changed slightly over the years. That is for sure. Things have definitely gotten more fun and or exciting. And with that, so good news, bad news. Good news is tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, we're going to be doing the news. So we'll have Dean and Fernando's Car Stereo Clips, the YouTube channel. We'll have the news. The bad news is Hi-Fi Vega is still on vacation, so we're not going to be...
That's the bad news.
That's the bad news. Bad news for us. Good news for him. He's still on vacation. So there'll be no reverse polarity or side jag shows tonight. Total bummer, I know. So enjoy your weekend, but keep in mind next week we'll be back. We're going to be reviewing the 20th anniversary of Fast and Furious, the original.
Fast and Furious.
I don't even know what you call it because it's like there's so many now.
Fast 9, man.
Yeah, we're going to do Fast 1. Just one pony.
Yeah.
But old is relative. Or you have old relatives, one or the other. But anyways, that's what we got going on. Thanks so much for playing with us today. This has been 5 Minutes of 5 Star. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Hi, at this point, all representatives and assistant employees, please stand on.
Hello.
Yeah, no doubt. What is going on, everyone? How's everybody doing? Hey, did we get the box for this, or did you just give us the woofer and the grill? Oh, okay. There's the box.
Let me show you something. Look at this.
It's a bag of trash. It's an empty plate.
That's a cake.
There was cake on it, yeah.
Why?
Because Haley brought the birthday cake up here.
There you go.
That she made at home from scratch.
Yeah.
It's a homemade from scratch cake. Which apparently you'll find out tonight on, or tomorrow I should say, on the Boring Life with Dean and Haley, because she filmed the whole thing. Anyways. How's everybody doing? Victor, what's going on, buddy? We're just working on a car. This is a quick one. Is it okay to run RCAs beside ground wire? Yeah. I don't think you should have a problem with that. Hey, what's your opinion on the Kicker Comp R Dual 10? I want to put it in my new 2018 Honda Accord. Yeah, Comp Rs. Yeah. I like the Comp Rs. Dual 10s.
Nice.
Yeah, that'd be nice in the back of a Honda.
Tons of bass, yes.
Yeah, that'd be loud. And the box will fit too. You'll probably look at that box.
Fine. Yeah,
you know, that'll squeeze up in there between the strut towers.
Yep.
Or shock towers. So to answer that question that you just asked about the power wire, let's take a look at this 4Runner that we got going on here as a good example and how to answer that.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. All right, so what we got is we just finished the amp board here for the Kenwood 902.5. We haven't run any of the wires yet because I literally just set it in here, and now we came to do this. But what we're looking at is, here's the RCAs, here's the speed wire, the bass knob. It's all gonna go into the side panel, run up into the dash. But you know, there's no way to avoid this. All right, so this is going to, but they're crossing at 90 degrees. The reason why they run like this is because this chamber right here is open. Otherwise, they would have turned and come this way, which would have put them right next to, you know, there would have been an inch. But they would have come along here and ran that. We've done that countless numbers of times. What you're buying when you buy a better built amplifier is that noise suppression, that circuitry that has the ability to look at your input, output, your power consumption, and get rid of the noise that's created from this very noisy environment. You know, you look here in the car, and this is where everyone runs their RCAs. This is filled with power wires. It's filled with power wires. There's tons of them. There's power window motors, brake lights, windshield wiper motors, pumps. Every possible thing you can think of is all running along here. And it's the same on that side, and there's wires that go here. So in the car, there's a ton of noise everywhere. One of the fun things that we run into, like when we take our RTA, one of the RTAs we have, which is this guy right here, the Minimalizer Yeah, it is NTI Minimalizer NI1. ML1, my bad, Jesus, come on, get with it, Dean. One of the things that makes this really unique is that it can go super low, meaning we can get down to like negative 100 dB or something like that, and we can look at a power line, okay? And the amount of noise that is just coming over that power line, you guys would flip out because you'd be like, oh my God, what is all, and it's like, that's just normal. Most RTAs don't have that kind of sensitivity to look at that kind of thing, so you don't even know it's there. But your amplifier knows it's there, and it's an amplifier, so it's amplifying all the noise, but it's doing a good job at rejecting that. The more expensive the amplifier, chances are good, the more expensive, the better quality components that go into to help reject that noise. Cheaper amplifiers, you're on your own, guys.
How to use?
What do you got?
How to use an Educar app.
How to use the Educar app?
Right here.
Okay.
You go here.
Hold on. Oh, Fernando's telling me. Educar. So it has test and tune. So there's two different ways you can use this. When you're using it for test, when you're using it for test, what this is going to do is this is going to create left, right, left minus right, middle. You have obviously all your gain settings here with 40, 250, 1K, 8K, 0, -5, 10, a 1K, a 0. tune, this allows you to diagnose the car before you even get into it. So you can play mono pink noise, you can play pink noise through the center channel, you can play bass, mid, treble, pink noise only. So what this is when you're sitting in the car, okay, and you play center pink noise, does it sound like there's a center channel? Okay, does it sound like there's left of center, right of center? And you can kind of get an idea of what's going on in the car. Does the car image? So we're talking about a factory stereo. Does, you know, so from our point of view, we can use it to hop into a car and be like, kind of get an idea of what's happening in there. Is there any kind of upmixing or equalization going on? So it's really a tool. It can be used in 3 different ways, probably more than 3. You can use it when you're setting your gains, you can use it when you're setting your RTA, and you can use it to help diagnose the type of system that it has.
Yeah.
If you've never taken any of the EduCar training on teachable.com, I recommend spending the $20. There's 3 classes, it's $60 total, and going through it and watching all 3 of his classes. They're like an hour long, and it will really walk you through how not just to use that app and where to use it, because he doesn't focus on the app. He focuses on figuring things out and, of course, walking you through the process. So once you get done with those, you'll have a much better understanding of the basics of DSP and some of the advanced features of DSP.
Mm-hmm.
Tuning my shop demo with the DMRT. How should I angle the mic? I obviously have it at driver's head. Do I face it forward towards the windshield? That's where we typically set it. Yes, we mount it. You guys have seen in the videos before. We mount it at head. We face it forward, and that's a good place to put it. One of the things that you might see a couple guys use, they're using microphone arrays where they have them like this way and they have them pointed up like this and whatnot. And depending on what you're doing, sometimes you'll see a mic facing straight up. It just depends on the microphone itself. If you bought the audio control one, you're going to face it forward.
Mm-hmm.
Nav TV and VXI amps. How can you connect a DAP and factory head unit into the system? 2020 Super Duties. So 3 inputs.
Inputs or outputs?
Something that they're talking about adding in that piece there. I'm not.
Okay, so connecting 3 inputs into a nav TV system for a 2024, I think is an output.
Well, I think what they're trying to do is add in the Bluetooth dongle. So you need. I don't know if the VXIs have some form of an input. And I don't know if you can separate. Well, if you're trying to add in the Bluetooth dongle to it. So I think they're trying to add this. I think they're trying to add this to it.
The A ones?
Yeah, because that's what it says. You're trying to add this, right? If you're trying to add this to it, you may have to go RCA out of the Nav TV and then use the digital input for this. And then in the VXI software, get the controller, and then I think you can set it to recognize, to auto switch, to where when it senses something coming over the Toshlink input, kind of like the Helix does, it automatically switches to that input. That might be how you have to do it. However, I'm not the most proficient in the JL. We don't sell them, but I'm sure you could probably give them a call and they could walk you right through it. Because those guys are pretty cool. Oh, they are cool.
American base.
Are they on there? Is that Bob?
It's Bob.
What's up, Bob? Yes, Moscone EMS. Yeah, I think that's how you'd have to do it. You'd have to go RCA out of the Nav TV into that, and then the VXI, you could feed it the Toshlink from the AMAS into that. And if you have the little controller, I know you can set that up to switch auxiliaries. I don't, I'm not 100% sure on that, but I think you can do it that way because I think I've heard Maddie talking about setting it up like that.
Yeah.
So, because it doesn't switch digital sources. Because I don't think it has 2 Toshlink inputs.
Mighty Car mods?
Mighty Car mods? What about them?
Where is it?
Mighty Car mods?
Uh-huh.
I don't know.
And what channel is that?
I don't know. Why?
Oh, I'm asking.
I don't know.
Thomas.
Thomas?
Yeah.
Did your daughter watch Mighty Car Mods restoration? Oh, he's talking about yours.
Yeah, but like.
Mighty Car Mods is probably something on YouTube.
Okay, I will check it out.
Yes.
I will check it out.
There you go. All right. I see a Boss head unit 10.1 inch for 500 here in Canada. Is that a good brand, quality, or should I get the ILX W650? Wow. No, but okay, so all right, let's walk this through and let's kind of figure out which head unit you should go with. The 10.1 on a Boss radio, it's a big screen. It's going to look nice. Is it the highest quality on the market? No. But the ILX W650 is Alpine's entry-level piece. So, with that being said, it's not like the ILX that's a $299 or $399. So I don't think the ILX W650 is crazy, but for $500 you could get into like a Exelon Kenwood, which is going to be better quality than both of those. But if you want the big screen, then I would go with the Boss. If you're trying to build a system from it, meaning you're worried about sound quality, then you might want to go in a different direction.
Yeah.
Find something like the XR Exelon series, which is going to be the best in sound quality. But if you're just there again, if you're going for the big screen, go for the Boss. If you're not, maybe looking at the Kenwood XR. The Alpine is just a 6.5 inch or 6 point whatever. It's a good radio. We sell a ton of them. But it's a tough one between those two because the Boss isn't that bad anymore. It's not bad. So that's tough, man. You know. What do you think about Scar speakers? We haven't done a lot with them. We've only done like maybe 2 builds with those, and they were very purposely built. Like we built them around what they were made to do, which is be loud.
Yeah.
So that was how we played those. So
that's something that we.
How is the Kenwood XR series speakers for price, quality, and sound? Funny you should ask that. Let's take a moment here, and as I just showed you the amplifier that's underneath the seat here, this is the 901.5 XR. So this is a high-res audio capable amplifier, which means it'll play up to 40,000 hertz. But you have to have a high-res compatible deck. So to do that, these people, hold on, that's scaring me. These guys chose to go with the navigation system. This is the 997 XR. Unfortunately, Black Dash, can't get the Black Dash. It's been on back order for 4 months now, so we gotta go with the Silver Dash. Obviously, we'll swap it out if and when we can. But yeah, kind of sucks there. Took out the navigation factory, going with the Garmin, going with the XR. This will play high-res audio output, so if you do something with FLAC files or something along those lines, it can convert those and awesome there. Reference series amplifier, that's the cool black box. This is also getting the Kenwood Exelon XP6902s, even though this is a 3, it's getting the 6902s in the dash. Took those out. And then because this has 4 6.5s in the rear, we're taking those out and we're putting in the KFC X174s. So for the most part, there's a full Kenwood system. However, we're out of the Kenwood subwoofers, so we're actually going to go with the Rockford P3 in the back. But this is a nice system. I say little because it's not like DSP and 5,000 other things we have to do with it. So he's also adding in the dash cam. So this dash cam will plug directly into that. This is the 7, you got the box? 702?
520.
Oh, 520. There's no 7.
DRV and 520.
Yep. So this plugs directly into that radio. It has the factory backup camera, amplifier underneath the seat. So in these, they have the cool 6.5s here that are in series with these cool 6.5s here. So if you have a 4Runner and you haven't watched our video on the 4Runner, if you decide to remove these speakers, you'll get no sound out of those. You have to loop the wires here. So if you're free, oh, what happened? You took those out. So just twist the 2 wires together, solder them up, do what you need to do, and you'll be back.
Oscar, say happy birthday.
Thank you, Oscar. But the XR speakers are phenomenal.
Yeah.
The new ones are even better. Yeah, the new XRs are really nice.
They're biampable.
They are biampable.
Oh, also the new Kangoo Excellent components that are biampable or focal access components.
Yes. What's this one? Now with CarPlay Android Auto being wireless, I can't think of what else top-end head units can do or how else to evolve. Ooh, see? Now that's where you're not thinking things clearly. Let's think about this for a second. One of the most popular things to add on to a car right now is the DSP. All right. The problem with an aftermarket radio is they're kind of kicking that dirt around where they only have 6-channel preamp output, front, rear, and sub. They only have a single EQ. Now with the new XR 10.9 inch or whatever the big one is, it's added in a parametric EQ that has front, rear, and sub control independently, along with the ability to group all 3 of those together in the parametric side. So that's kind of a step in the right direction, but we still have the capability of having 8-channel preamp output, front, rear, front tweeter, sub, or 3-way set, sub, possibly a pass-through. So full DSP in a head unit is something that we've yet to see. We're also not seeing Toshlink output. There's no digital outputs on these things. The only one that has that is the high 10, and it's not a full support. It's using you're not getting everything you want out of that. So it's not like it's high-res audio over that yet. So we see stuff like that. DSPs, built-in digital signal processors for cameras. So though some of the cameras have the ability to change angles, not all of them have the ability in the radio. Picture a radio that has the ability to crop and zoom. One of the problems you run into when keeping a factory backup camera, if it's not perfectly in the center, they fix that usually from the factory. Let's see where this one is. So for example, if you look at this backup camera, see how it's off center next to that light? Well, that's 3 inches off of center. That means when we put our new screen in, unless there's some form of a digital processor between the camera and the radio, which some cars do have, it's going to be off. The ability to go in and crop and recenter the camera would be fabulous. These are all simple things that they can do. However, the price would have to reflect that. So the other thing we're looking at is discrete. Like someone asked the other day, why do these radios still have amplifiers in them? Let's take the amplifiers out. Let's use that for a better preamp section. Okay, but these are quality things and some feature things that most people can't understand, in the sense that, like, when you go and you look at a radio and you say, hey, this one is $200, this one is $600, they both play DVDs, they both have CarPlay, they both have 6-channel preamp output. This one has an extra one. I don't think I'm going to use that. Why would I pay $600 for that? Well, because it has all these extra features. So that's kind of where these radio manufacturers are at. They just don't know who's going to buy and pay for these. Plus, we're still looking at the fact that these things don't have 1080p screens. So we could always increase the screen resolution, which would solve a lot of issues for us. So there are a lot of things they can do. The problem is are they valuable things that people will go, oh, that makes this radio better, I should buy it? It's hard to say, because like right now, not picking on the guy earlier to ask, should I buy the Boss 10.1 inch or should I buy the Alpine? A lot of people just want big screens.
Yeah, don't care about that.
Yeah, they don't care about anything else.
That's what they exist, the big Tesla radios, you know, because the only thing well, I'm not saying, but a lot of people, they just want that look. Big screen, they want to watch movies, they want to watch YouTube.
Nobody wants to watch. Yeah, but they don't, I mean.
They do.
Nah,
and at the end of the day, they don't care about the quality.
Well, the guy with the F150 goes, why is there an HDMI on my dash? Because it comes with it. He's like,
not everybody.
I'm not going to do that.
How many people are like, how can I watch this? How can I watch
Well, yeah, but so, okay, all right, slow it down. But that goes back to the original thing. The quality of the screen, most of the screens are 480. So there's no reason to try to watch your video on that screen because it's terrible.
People don't care. They still want
to see that right,
image
but that goes back
to there.
That goes back to what I was saying, which is if those are the only things you're interested in,
Mhm.
then there's no reason for them to make a better radio.
Correct.
So we have to decide as consumers, where do we want them to put their effort? If all
Yeah.
we're worried about is taking this image off of here and putting it onto there, then that's what they'll do.
Yeah.
They're not going to make it sound any better. If we want it to sound better, then we have to ask them, and when they do
That's
come out
that's
with
what
it,
I say.
we
These-
have to buy it.
That's why exists these Tesla radios, because they give you that without no sound quality at all.
Oh, and they're
Well,
terrible.
nothing at all.
Yes.
So
I
if
see
that's
where
what
you're
you
going.
want.
If that's what you want, then that's what you buy.
Yeah.
And this has been fun. Now, as far as the backup camera getting an update, it's 4 years old. Yeah, no, I mean, it's a dash cam. I don't know how much more you need it to do.
Yeah.
People just want to strunt, yeah. More processing power in these pricey aftermarket head units. They're still slow. You know, it's funny you say pricey, because when I bought my first radio, 20 years ago or whatever it was, they were way more expensive than they are now. Like, you couldn't walk into a screened radio for under $1,000, and that was a
Yeah.
piece of crap. So you can get into a brand new radio with pretty much every feature under the sun for between $300 to $500. So give me that same $1,000 I had back then, and let me put that into a radio, and I think you'll see a much different product. But you're not going to, because everybody wants these things for a
Yeah.
lot cheaper. So that's kind of what the problem is it's like, now for $299 you can get a pretty substantial radio, and people have settled on that. So I'll stick with my Apple CarPlay with jailbroken iPhone to run any app. Oh, there you go. Happy birthday. Thank you. What kind of cake or dessert do you want? Okay, so I'm a big fan of strawberry cake or pink cake with cream frosting.
Mm-hmm.
And so Haley and Sue, which if you watch The Boring Life, apparently I'll be editing it tonight, maybe from scratch at home. At home from scratch. Strawberry cake with frosting, cream cheese frosting. They brought it up here today and let us try it. And it was very sweet and very yummy.
Yeah, that was good.
And it had sprinkles.
They did really
You know why it
good
had
job.
sprinkles?
Because that's for what?
Winners.
There you
Winners
go.
get sprinkles.
Oh man, that's why.
Thank you. Sham loves the system of Tacoma. Great job, guys. Hey, man, that's what it's all about. Who cares what we want everyone to have a great experience.
Yeah,
So, that's what it's all about. Just making it kick butt and take names at the end. I have a super ridiculous question. Why do current stereo housing look exactly the same as they did 30 years ago? Do they really need to be so large? No, they don't. And that's changing. So a lot of the radios now are coming short chassis because they don't need to be large. Sony and Alpine have kind of like changed the way they make their chassis. Sony has the upside down L chassis, where it's just a screen, but it has a single DIN behind it. Alpine has the L chassis, which is the single DIN on the bottom with the screen on the top. That's the one that Metro makes a lot of kits for. I don't know how long they're going to keep making that. When you look at Kenwood, so when you have what we call the X chassis, because there's an X here on the top of it, this chassis is on all of the XR series radios, and the reason for it is because of the circuit board that's in there. Like, this radio actually has tangible weight like those old radios did. So all the XR radios have that big audio grade component board in there. So even though like they don't all have, none of them have, there's like two of the 5 have CD DVD players. It just made sense to carry that board all the way through the lineup. You're going to see a board change in probably 2023 or 2024, because everything that they were going to do got put back on hold because of COVID right now. Most manufacturers are just looking to fill orders. and try to build the products that they have already scheduled to be built, not build anything new. But I'm with you. I would love, I don't know why we have big chassis anymore. When you pull the dash apart in these GMs and these Chryslers, and it's just like, there's nothing there. The GM radios are made out of plastic. The Chrysler radios, which are made by Harman, are these tiny metal bricks that don't look like anything. So, yeah, it's weird. But yeah, I'm sure as time evolves and we start to get more and more dashes that you don't have the depth. You'll see the floating screens actually become more functional. Like the High 10 from Stinger is really nice because it's like that. It has a short, like a 2/3 chassis, but it's 1.5 feet away from the monitor and can be up to 3 feet away from the monitor. So, that opens a whole new category. And now that they've done that, I think you'll start to see other manufacturers that'll follow suit, but make it easier. Like Pioneer tried to do that, but it didn't go so well. And then Alpine, it just kind of caught them off guard. And then Kenwood wasn't even on the page. So, yeah. Thank you for the happy birthday. I still remember the first Kenwood Eclipse you had to manually tilt up. Oh, yeah, P907. I love that radio. Look at that. It's 6:30, guys, which means we're going to hit the road. I got to go meet some people for dinner. Fernando needs to go cough and take a nighttime NyQuil so he can go fall asleep on the couch and let everyone else in the house get some sleep.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. You have a wonderful rest of your day. This has been 5 Minutes with 5-Star. Oh, go check out the news. If you haven't seen the news yet, go over to Dina Fernando's Car Stereo Clips and watch the news. And then tune in tomorrow for The Boring Life of Dina Haley. It'll be up at 9:30.
Tomorrow, guys.
Bye.
All right, number 2 is pineapple.
What are you doing, Fernando?
Radios. Nothing. I'm just eating right here.
No Valentina sauce, man. It's just not the same.
I know, not the same.
But how's everyone out there doing? Actually, he's doing some translation. He's the official translator of iData.
Don't blame me.
Yeah, right. If they got it wrong, it's not his fault. If they got it right, it's totally him.
There we go.
Fernando, get to work. And this is it, man. This is the end of the day. We don't. We're set up and ready for the show. We're getting our snack on. There I am. Woo. This is what we look at. So when the show's going on, actually, we go and actually be this and that. So we see this, but then once we actually go live, this half of the screen over here is where all the comments come. So if you see us trying to scroll with this, we're trying to get back to the comments. And of course I have my laptop here. Now he's big money, so he'll have his laptop here. That's what this cable's waiting for. But this is what allows us to pull between and turn everything on and off. Good times. But we'll be live at 6, taking all your car stereo questions and having a gay old time. Because it's nothing but fun, right? How was your week, man?
Merciful.
Who opens ships like that? I know, right? Dude, he commits. That's the thing you gotta admire about it. He commits to the bag of chips.
Oh, you have to, man. It's like you throw a party that everybody can grab.
All right, so here we go. Caught the news show replay. I guess the closest came to celebs in car audio was if Car Show built a celeb car and told what equipment they used in it. Yeah, I mean, that kind of makes sense. If you look at West Coast Customs, I'm pretty sure that's their whole, show plan, is that in Orange County Choppers was no different. They would try to get the companies would be the celebrities, and they, you know, it was like celebrity bike builds, which was kind of weird, but yeah, West Coast Customs, totally. It's like, oh, we're building another car for Justin Bieber, or we're building, you know, what would a DeLorean look like, or, you know, we have Britney Spears pink Bentley, you know, there again, that's as cool as it's gonna get, I guess. It's kind of sad. It's kind of sad. But, you know, companies don't want to spend money on that kind of stuff. 10-inch Kenwood or high 10 and a Silverado. Ooh, let's break that one apart. Okay, so high 10. So, all right, so we got Stinger high 10 or the Kenwood or the JVC. Anyways, one of those two radios. Let's talk it apart. All right, so when you look at the high 10, they make, Stinger makes, or Pack, whatever, makes the dash kit to make it flush. So that's pretty solid because it's nice and flush and it looks factory. It's sexy. HDMI input, Toshlink output. So if you're gonna go to some form of a DSP, this has a Toshlink output. Better DAC built in, so you're gonna go RCA output. Audio grade components all throughout. 13 band EQ, 13 band EQ. Parametric EQ. Ooh, bonus parametric EQ with front, rear, and sub, as well as full group. You can use both, the graphic and the parametric. Time alignment. 4 volts, 5 volts. Plus I said audio grade components. 4 cameras. Sexiest screen on the planet right now. Not too bad. This is a close second as far as the screen quality goes, and sharpness and whatnot. Can you think of anything that I'm missing? They both have 18 watts of power if you're planning on using that. I wouldn't. iData compatible. So if you want to do any of the RR functionality like gauges, tell your doors are open, tire pressure sensing, all that stuff is built into this. You have to go pack harness with this. It comes with the kit, so none of that. So I think that's it as far as comparing the two. Obviously this is going to stick out because it's not going to have the flush DAC kit like that has, unless you buy that and design it and flush it all yourself, which, you know, hey, anything's possible. But there you go. Take your pick. You guys take 2 days off? We did take 2 days off last weekend. This weekend we don't get 2 days off. We have the regular 1 day off because it's back to life, back to reality. Let's see some good content. We try our best. That's all I can do. What's a good setup for my 2019 Civic sedan? Go full thesis, the whole thing, thesis, 10, 15,000 bucks, all the way. I don't know, man. That's kind of a, you know, that's one of those questions. You can't just answer that question without having a totally long discussion. Where can I run 0 gauge in a Ford Excursion? It's going to be the same as an F-150. On the driver's side, there's a grommet in the firewall that you go through. It's like what, about the size of a softball? Yeah, you got the as he's, you know, eating his chips down before we go live. Got a Kia Stilet, yeah. Debating between Focal Access entry level or Morale entry level. Any opinions on which is a better buy? They're both excellent buys. It comes down to what type of sound are you looking for. Morale is going to be a silk or cloth dome tweeter. Focal is going to be a metal tweeter. Those have two totally different sound signatures. They're both equally loud. That's not the issue. It's just one is metal, has a metal sound signature to it. One is soft and does not. So that's where you're at. They're both great speakers. So you got to kind of figure out which type of tweeter you like. I need a suggestion on an amp. Buy an audio control. I remember Karate Magazine would show celebrity installs. Yeah, that was fun. Yeah, I do. That was a good time. Bet you Derek probably still has most of those. Should I use an Amp Pro or Maestro AR to add aftermarket audio control D-Series amps to my 8-inch MyLink non-Bose Silverado? Okay. You're going to probably want to use the Amp Pro for that because that's what we would use. It all depends on whether or not you like FM radio. And the only way to go AR into that right now is with the DSR-1 because audio control hasn't shipped their cable for it yet. Obviously, if they would ship their cable, you'd have to buy an AR, you'd have to buy the DGM3, and you'd be all set and everything would be hunky-dory. But the reason why I say it has to do with FM is, which no one ever listens to FM anymore. I say that and then 10 people come on and say, oh, I do listen to FM. I would just do an Amp Pro on that, Amp Pro GM61 and call it a day. I mean, it works great. Bolts tied 4-4. Thank you for that. End of second period. Thank you. I was wondering how they were doing and I haven't had a chance to check. That sucks though, but thanks for telling me. I think it'd be cool how you take time to help people out, brother. Well, we do what we can. You know, we want everyone to like our audio. Can it work for y'all? Probably not.
And it's not because.
It's not because. It's just because. If I run K2, should I run flax in the rear or save money? And do you usually turn down the rear so if it doesn't make sense to spend $800 on rear speakers? Thank you. Here's the thing. $800 for rear speakers. If you're trying to do this on a reasonable amount of money, meaning like you can afford K2s, you can afford the amplifier to run them, but the rears are going to set you back. Look at where you're at with the amount of money you spent for those rear speakers.
Okay.
If you got the money laying around, by all means, go with them. There's no reason not to. However, if you're like struggling to make it work, the front end is the most important part. $800 is great if you're buying the best of the best of everything up front already. So what I'm getting at is for $800, you could buy a better front amplifier. Take you to a whole nother different level of amplifier. To me, I would spend the money on the front stage. The rear is just rear effects. We do matching systems all the time, and I love doing them. However, you know, when we're trying to get that budget, and it's like, listen, we can do K2 up front with this amplifier, full active DSP. This is going to sound great. Let's not worry about the rear speakers so much. We're just going to put something back there. And a lot of times we'll even just do plug and plays. Yeah. We won't even go, we'll do plug and plays, man. We'll take it down to
power by the radio.
You know, sometimes we'll power them by the radio if we have to. Because at the volume we're going to be playing this thing at, who cares? But the front is the most important. So if you got an extra $800 to spend on it, really look at that front stage and go, do I have enough sound treatment? Do I have the best fasterings? Do I have everything I need to make my front sound the best that I can? If the answer is yes, and I still got the $800 left over, by all means, get the rear speakers.
Oh, totally.
You know, but you know, if we're at $800 and we're still doing a 4-channel amp to power front and rear, no, I'm not doing that. I'm getting a 6-channel amplifier.
$800 left, I will upgrade the next size up on the speakers or the amplifier.
Or the amplifier. Yeah, definitely. Or the DSP for that matter.
Or the DSP.
All right, what time are we at? We're at 9 minutes. Hey, listen, we're going to end it there because we got to get this guy set up so we can answer more of these questions over on YouTube. If you're new to the show, make sure you head over to 5 Star Car Stereo on YouTube. We'll be live from 6 to 7. And if you're an old faithful guy, then yes, Kenwood plus RR plus Kenwood for the win. I'm not going to argue with that. If you're an old faithful, make sure you tune in the next 5 minutes. We'll be over there on YouTube taking your questions, having a good time, wrapping up this long week that we've all had, even though it's been a short week for some of us. It feels like it's just as long as every other week. So we'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.